Chapter 11. Lian. In the morning, I tell Daton we need to warn everyone about the demicats. I have no idea what can be done about them, but I can't just do nothing as certain death approaches us.
Yes, we should. It will be tricky, though, as you and I have something in common,
he says. I raise my eyebrows in question.
We're both wanted dead by everyone in Amada,
he explains. Indeed, we are. I groan in frustration, and Daton snickers at the sound. He squats and starts to draw a map of Amada in the dirt. The sea in the east, the mountains of Doom in the west, Aldon and Kozari in the northeast, Renyan in the southeast. The swamps are in the center, and in the southwest, near the mountains of Doom, no kingdom rules. That is the land of the Outlaws. Only runaways dare to live so close to the mountains of Doom. Why do the Mongans live in the swamps and not there? Wouldn't it be easier to live in the land of the Outlaws? I ask. Daton said the swamps are uninhabitable to humans. Hardly anything humans can eat grows there, and it is full of predators.
It would be a far better place to live,
he hums in agreement.
The land is fertile there, but the Mongans dread the mountains of Doom. The Oracle never agreed to move there. She believes there is great evil in those mountains, greater than the pure soul's wantonness even. But if we go there, then we could find someone to spread the rumor of the demicats.
I look dismayed at the map he drew and the shortage of options before us. But they're all outlaws. How can we trust them? I ask.
We are outlaws too,
he replies with a shrug. I remain quiet at that, and he seems to sense my uneasiness.
When you left for Renyan, I thought of going there. The land there is good, easy to live off. I told you once I was a farmer.
But he doesn't complete the sentence, as if it's too hard for him to say those things out loud, after all the atrocities he shared with me. 100 years ago, before they killed his wife and enslaved him, he was a farmer and loved farming. I can hear it in his voice. I can hear the longing for that. And it makes sense to me, although it shouldn't because he's the butcher. But maybe some of us have parts that don't quite fit. Maybe some of us are anomalies. Maybe we all are. But you said the Mongans fear those mountains, I remind him.
And the pure souls believe in trolls. There are enough real things to fear in Amada. There is no need to invent more of them. And I've been there before. The mountains are gloomy and fearful with their looming enormous black rocks. They are so high and steep that they look like a wall of nightmares, casting wide, ominous shadows. But where the sun reaches, the land is fine. It's quiet, and the eeriness of the mountains frighten away all unwanted company, he explains. You've dreamed of going there for a long time, I observe. It's not a question, because when he talks about it, he lights up in a way I haven't seen before. He grins sheepishly at me. He smiles, and those creases at his eyes dance ever so lightly, and he suddenly looks like the farthest thing from the butcher. Even his eyes don't look obsidian black anymore. It is almost as if... Where did you plan to go, now that Renyan is not an option? Kozari, maybe?
He asks, and I realize I was too busy staring at him to actually keep track of our conversation. No. It comes out harsher than it should.
Right.
His voice is clipped and his smile so gone, I think I imagined it.
Kidnapping you eliminated that place for you too.
But then he stops. Was he going to apologize? Does he feel guilty? I should tell him he shouldn't, that he didn't harm me. Not really. He kidnapped me from prison, set me free in a way. But now that I can't go to Renyan, where can I go? When the path is unclear, the best thing to do is start walking. I say to him and to myself. We'll try to warn everyone about the demicats. And after that, if I'm not eaten or killed, I'll work something out. How long would it take us to get to the land of the Outlaws?
3 weeks, if I can steal some horses.
He wipes off the map he drew on the dirt, and I frown. Why so long? It would be too late.
We're in Aldon, so we can't walk the main roads.
Neither of us speaks of the 4 soldiers from whom he rescued me. Also, according to Tilil, there is a bounty on my head. We're basically the 2 most hunted people in Amada right now. I swallow. But it will be too late. He hums in agreement.
It is too long, but I can't take you to the swamps. I won't be able to keep you safe from the Oracle. The best thing to do is go to the land of the Outlaws and hope to run into a Mongan on our way.
But aren't you banished from the Mongans? Wouldn't they hurt you if you encounter them? I ask.
They can try.
He simpers as if the mere idea that Mongans can harm him is a joke.
If we can warn the Mongans, then everyone will be aware of the Demicad's return. Renyan will warn the other pure souls.
I want to argue, but if my aunt was going to turn me over to Aldon, then she is in enough of a relationship with Aldon to ask them for help from the Demicads. And Aldon will protect its other ally, the Khazaris. No one will protect the Mongans. Although I'm less and less sure Aldon can protect anyone from the Demicads. There are songs and tales of how King Desh, the king of Aldon during the War of Light, defeated the Demicads with the help of Sun. Renyan and Khazari submitted to Aldon because of the Demicads, and yet they were not defeated at all, if what the Demicad told me is true. I ask Daton to try to steal the horses from soldiers and not farmers. The farmers here are poor, and losing a horse could be the difference between working the land and becoming beggars. And I've seen how easily he can take down the Aldonian soldiers if he needs to.
Why should I care for the pure souls farmers?
He looks at me askance.
They are as honorless as the soldiers. They prosper from our exploitation. In 100 years, I have not met even one pure soul who stood up for my people.
Yeah, these are hard arguments to counter, but it still can't justify killing random commoners. Trying to placate him, I say, maybe they're afraid. Going out against the church and the royals is a terrifying thing for a commoner. I only manage to exasperate him, though. He's practically seething now.
Who knows better than the Mongans what the price is for defying the church and your royals? But better to die than to live a life with no honor.
So they all just deserve to die? I exclaim.
Yes,
he growls back, and I can only gape at him incredulously for a while. You can't mean that. There are innocents. There are children, I exclaim. I know you don't mean it. I know you don't drink the blood of pure soul kids and... Because yes, he's killed a lot of pure souls, but he's not the monster they like to portray.
Why the fuck would I drink the blood of pure soul kids? Like I would contaminate myself with your blood. Fucking pure souls and their fucking imaginations, he snarls.
There was a long silence between us as I stare at him. That was not why I expected him not to drink kids' blood. He growls.
For fuck's sake, Lian. I don't kill children. There is no honor in killing children.
Thank the goddess. I started freaking out there. I sigh in relief.
But every other pure soul is fair game, and there is honor in killing the oppressor,
he says and starts walking away, ending our argument. I sit waiting for him until noon, my mind bursting with contradicting thoughts and questions. If I were a Mongan, would I view things as he does? And after all the atrocities he has endured, can I judge him? But is he a good person? And why does it matter to me so much? Maybe I'm not good at all myself. He protected me from his people. But what have I ever done to help the Mongans? I always believed what I was told. I never questioned any of it. Am I a good person? Can I become one?
At noon, Daton returns with 2 mares, and by their saddles, I can tell they belonged to the army. It gives me a fuzzy feeling that he didn't steal from farmers after all, and I work very hard to stifle a smile. Apparently doing a really crappy job at it because he growls, "Stop being so happy with yourself, or I'll steal another pair." Sorry. I bite my lower lip in the attempt to kill my growing smile. "And stop doing that too," he scolds. "What? What am I doing now?" I exclaim. Daton just shakes his head as if I'm a lost cause and hands me a knife. "You need to learn how to defend yourself now that you're an outcast." I scoff at the knife, and Daton smiles wolfishly, a smile full of white teeth. A common smile, my guardian would have called it. But it is the best smile, and it makes my knees feel like jelly. I'm fearful he will notice my blush. He's probably smiling because the idea of the princess of Aldon becoming an outcast is amusing to him. Or even worse, the idea of me fighting is hilarious. But I don't find it in me to care. I'm not sure I should be trusted with a knife, not after the poor way I fought you with it. I keep eyeing the knife gingerly, trying to distract myself from my weak knees. "You were soaked in Nematech then. Now that you've completely withdrawn from it, you can be a real menace," he smirks. It's complete nonsense, of course. I've seen him kill men with such ease. Nematech or not, I had no chance against him. So I can't understand why he says it and why he is acting in this playful, smiling manner. Shouldn't he be testier after our argument in the morning rather than less so? I turn to my new horse, feeling very strange things I shouldn't feel. Not just with this broken man that most likely will never see past me being a pure soul, but not for any man. Because I want things that may seem wonderful, but I know better. I know these things are pain and shame. I can't speak to the horses. I tried. Why could I speak with the direwolf and the demicad, but not with the horses? We ride on side roads so narrow that sometimes we need to get off the horses and cut some of the bushes that block the road. This is the first time I've ridden on a regular saddle. Until now, I've only worn dresses and ridden with a side saddle. I enjoy the freedom pants offer, although they make me feel more exposed, showing the shape of my legs the way they do. Old habits die hard, and so does old prudery. We camp in the late afternoon, and Daton tries to teach me some basic combat positions. He is more at ease when it comes to fighting, less brooding than usual. It's in his gait, in the tone of his voice and the expression on his face, as if combat is his comfort zone, which it probably is. He's too close to me, fixing my straddle, my posture. I shiver from the things his proximity does to my body. I've known how traitorous my body is, but I never thought it would betray me like this. And Daton touches me, barely, only to show me the better grip. But he is warm and gentle. It is marvelous how this brutal killer can be so gentle. When I feel his breath on my nape, I say I'm tired in a strained voice I don't recognize and retire to my sleeping bag. What would it be like to kiss him? I'm too scared to find out. When I spot a mastic tree, I tell Daton about the healing powers of its flowers, and he asks if I'd teach him Renyan healing. I know they will view this as an act of treason in Renya, but everything I've learned of my home only makes me agree. I enjoy teaching him. He's clever and asks questions I don't always know how to answer, which makes me dig deeper into the memories of my mother's lessons. I ask Daton to teach me Mongan in return. But you already know Mongan. He looks baffled. I think it has something to do with understanding the direwolf and the demicad. I understand them, but I don't at the same time. It's kind of like having this inner translator in me, but it's not the same as studying it and understanding it. Languages have an inner logic. It's based on the people's culture.
I don't know how to explain any of it, but I have this nagging feeling that when you speak in Mongan to me, I understand you in Aldonian. For example, why would you call the people you hate pure souls? It doesn't make any sense, you know? His face fills with emotions that I can't unravel, and he is quiet for a while. Yet he agrees, and every day while we ride he teaches me more words of his language. It is how I learned that the Mongans don't refer to the pure souls as pure souls, but rather as shavirs, which means the ones with thin blood. How very far from how we like to portray ourselves. I also learned the Mongans have 7 different words that mean honor. There is a specific word that means honor for your parents, another word that means honor for your people, another one for the goddess, and one for a loved one. Every day when we set camp, Daton keeps insisting on teaching me basic combat so I can defend myself if needed. I doubt it will ever help me with my tendency to freeze in front of danger, but I indulge him. I shouldn't, because teaching me to fight demands closeness and touching. I am so clueless about it all that he needs to demonstrate the different tackling, the grabbing. His strong muscles flex between my hands, his hard, warm body looming behind me. There is nothing flirty when I'm by his side. He is a patient and serious tutor. But I burn with his body so close to mine, and there is a constant throb between my legs. My breaths are shallow and quick, and my cheeks flush. If he notices, he doesn't show it. Although I swear sometimes I catch him looking at me, his eyes drawn to my lips, his voice gruff. But he only continues in the instruction. One of those evenings, as he shows me a maneuver, it takes him a few extra seconds to remove his hand from my waist, his eyes fixed on my bottom lip, which I chew nervously as I attempt to gather self-control. His stubble has grown to a thick, dark beard, and I can't decide if it makes him look more feral or less. I ache to thread my fingers through it. I can feel his breath on my face. It smells sweet, like honey. Always that honey scent. Will you ever tell me why you followed me? Saved me from the direwolves after the River of Tears? I ask mainly because I can't bear the silence and the way he looks at me. There is a craving in me that terrifies me. I can see the muscles in his jaw working hard at my question. He says nothing but doesn't step away from me either. But this is ridiculous. I follow him all around Amada blindly, and he doesn't even bother to explain his motivations. My temper rises, covering the lust I don't want to feel. I can't just keep following you around, trusting you, when you won't trust me enough to explain why you keep saving me. Is it because I spoke to the direwolves? Do you think you can use this power you assume I have somehow? His hands drop from my waist, and he takes a step back. In 1 second, he shifts from gentle familiarity to simmering anger. Is that what you think of me? That I would manipulate you like an honorless man? What am I supposed to think? I cry out. My temper is keeping me undaunted. This is probably something he's not used to, because on a good day he is scary, and now he is the stuff of nightmares. Looming over me with those obsidian black eyes, his horns, and all that vibrating brute force. But I am not that princess from the wedding tent, and I refuse to be intimidated. I don't understand why. It's not so fucking complicated, he says, his voice rising. He shoves his hand through his hair and grunts in frustration. Why? I keep pushing. You know why. You make me want to protect you, he groans. Why? Why protect a woman who, by your own admission, you aren't averse to killing? I will not follow another man without question. Those days are over. I will not be manipulated with half-truths, I declare. But he only stares me down, as if he has already given me the answer and is just waiting for me to figure it out. I can hear a faraway bird chirping and the foliage moving in the slight breeze as we just stand there, staring at each other. My mouth goes dry, and my heart pauses. It can't be why. It can't be. But I'm a pure soul, I whisper to him in shock.
I've noticed. He drawls and crosses his arms. Look, I don't expect you to feel the same. The stars know I tried not to feel this way. It's just...
I close the distance between us and kiss him. My lips crush into his, and I can feel his shock. I'm shocked too. Truly I am, but you can only simmer for so long without boiling. Realizing he wants me, that he has feelings for me, melts any inhibition I had. My hands are on his chest and I can feel his heartbeat. He tastes sweet and warm, like honey and spice. And while his body is big and hard against mine, his lips are soft. As he recovers from my surprise assault, one hand moves to my waist and the other grabs my nape firmly but gently. He kisses me as if his life depends on it. His mouth devours mine. His tongue enters my mouth and swirls against mine. His arm around my waist presses me even closer against him, and I can feel his hardening length against my stomach. Everything about him is hungry and consuming. My body is pressed to the wall of power that he is. And I freeze. Again, dreading this thing I unleashed. This huge and brutish power I can't control, that I couldn't stop if I wanted to. Slowly, he breaks the kiss.
What's wrong?
His eyes search my face. I can't bring words to my lips.
Lian.
There is a pleading to his voice that breaks my heart, and I feel panic washing over me. What have I done? This was so stupid of me. Now I'll just hurt him. Daton steps away from me, just slightly, but I feel so very cold at his distance. I'm sorry. My voice trembles and I'm fighting tears. I shouldn't have kissed him. I should have known I'd react like this after what happened the night before what was to be my wedding.
You have nothing to be sorry about. I'm the one to be sorry. I've lost myself,
he says, dragging his hand over his face. His eyes are full of pain, of guilt. I'm the one who started this. Don't you dare take this decision from me. I snap at him and he looks at me, baffled. I'm tearing up now. I want to tell him why, but I will take that to the grave. Then he just pulls me into a hug. One hand gently holds my lower back and the other strokes my hair. Why is his proximity suddenly so comforting when only seconds before it was terrifying? Instead of dwelling on that, on how he seems to know what I need from him right now, I just sink into his embrace. With my head on his chest, I sob. My tears drench his shirt, but his hands never leave me. We stand like that for the longest time, saying nothing. When we lie down to sleep, he opens his sleeping bag to me in invitation. I enter it without a word. As his body wraps around mine, his fingers graze my hair. I think I need time, I whisper. His thumb strokes my face gently.
We're in luck then. Mongans have triple the time,
he says with a ghost of a smile, and he kisses me slightly on my head.
Sleep, Lian,
he murmurs as he cuddles me with his big body. I rest my head on his chest, feeling his heartbeat. As I fall asleep, I have this feeling of being finally at home. But that can't be right, can it? When I wake up, Daton is already up and about, and he hands me a cup of coffee. Did you hide this until now? I look at him, aghast. I'm conflicted between the desire to maim him for the mere idea he had coffee all this time and didn't let me know, and the desire to kiss him in sheer joy. Because coffee! Finally. Daton chortles.
I wasn't aware you're so into coffee.
I take my first sip and groan at the rich flavor, and Daton's eyes instantly darken. You make a good coffee. It comes out a bit too out of breath under his gaze.
I don't know about that. I do know what coffee is worth stealing, though, he teases.
Goddess, he is so appealing like this, with that beautiful smile and those delicate lines dancing around his eyes.
Come on, we have a long ride today, he says as he begins packing our things.
Not until I finish my cup of coffee, I growl at him.